Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are gonna talk about one of the most interesting arguments I have ever read in my life. The argument goes like this: if God is all loving, all nice, then how can innocents suffer in this world? This argument has been placed by Dostoyevsky in his greatest work, in my opinion, and probably one of the greatest pieces of literature that has ever been written. I'm talking about the Brothers Karamazov by Dostoyevsky. Dostoevsky plays with this idea that how, if God really and truly exists, how can he let innocents suffer? He brings out this argument between two brothers, an elder brother, Ivan, who is so smart, so intellectual, and the younger brother, who is just this cute little hero, cute little religious person that believes in everything and believes in the good of the world. Ivan confronts his younger brother about his religious beliefs by placing this argument in front of him. He tells a story that if a 5 year old kid that has done nothing wrong in this world, if he is suffering for some inane reason, some unknown reason, how can there be a God? And even if God truly exists, I don't want anything to do with such a God who can let a 5 year old kid suffer so silently. Dostoevsky brilliantly has masterfully written this argument. You can see both sides of the argument. You can see the older brother's intellectual belief that how can this thing happen in this world? He has seen this world, he has seen all the good and bad of the world and has come to this conclusion. While the younger brother, Alyosha, is like this happy go lucky kid. He just believes in life. He believes that life is beautiful. Ivan tells a poem to Alyosha and confesses his innermost religious beliefs through this poem. The poem's story is like this. In the 15th century, a Grand Inquisitor is like running over a, is ruling over a land in Spain, and everybody believes that Jesus is going to resurrect. And in this fantasy story, Ivan brings out his own version of Jesus' resurrection. Every religion in this world has a resurrection day kind of thing. Like even in Hinduism, even in Islam, there is a day, Qayamat ki Raat. In Hinduism, Vishnu takes a new avatar every time something, some evil force is causing a havoc on innocence. So Ivan places this story in such a way that in the 15th century, the place ruled by this Grand Inquisitor, Jesus Christ comes back. And every poor little person in this world becomes happy in that village, becomes happy. A little kid is dead and his mom is crying there. Everybody goes and asks Jesus for help, and Christ resurrects him. The Grand Inquisitor, who is ruling this place in the name of Christ, is walking by the place and sees that Christ has come back. His very first response is not go meet him. The very first response of the Grand Inquisitor is to lock up Jesus Christ. In the night, Grand Inquisitor goes through this cell where he has locked up Jesus. The cell is like this small room, like a dark corner of the jail. He has put the Lord and Savior in this small room, and he goes and places his argument. Ivan is telling this story so beautifully. The Grand Inquisitor calls out Christ. He says, "You have showed such a way of life with so much love and so much freedom. People can be free. But this freedom, you have no idea how much of a burden it can be. All the religions have these principles which are so high value, which are so heavy. A human, the Grand Inquisitor tells Christ, a human cannot bear all these things. He cannot be so good. He cannot follow all these rules. That's why we have made this version of your religion so people can at least be happy." The Grand Inquisitor in some way is a narcissistic character, okay? He believes he is above all these people, and he feels like it is his responsibility to teach them other kind of things. He feels responsible to teach these people some other way of religion. He cannot let people see the real version of Christ, the real version of God. Jesus is just listening to him. The Grand Inquisitor gives him an opportunity, You can be here and be silent, and I won't kill you. If you go out and claim that you are the Christ and you have returned, I will have to kill you right now. You might be shocked in seeing how this guy, Grand Inquisitor, is claiming everything in the name of God. But when the God actually shows up, he wants to kill God only to protect his own place. This level of narcissism is a very interesting thing in life. The Grand Inquisitor has a very, powerful argument on his side also. The Grand Inquisitor is bringing out very valid points. Human life is full of suffering. You cannot expect a human to believe so much like God, like even Christ. How much he believed, how he died on the crucifix, and Christ just smiles. Then the Grand Inquisitor places an impediment on him. I can set you free if you just disappear and don't talk to anyone. Don't talk to my people that I rule. Or if you choose the other way, I cannot let you out of this cell alive. I have to kill you. You will be shocked in seeing how can a man that is claiming and ruling all this place in the name of Christ threaten Christ himself to kill him. I feel like the people in power and the people higher up feel they are better than everyone. They feel like they are better than God also in some ways. They are just using their ways to get through whatever they can. And I have to be honest here. I genuinely feel that the Grand Inquisitor takes his own personal responsibility that the people cannot bear such a high, like principled and a valued life. A human is flawed. A human is basically flawed. You cannot expect a human to be perfect. It drives him crazy. So the Grand Inquisitor in some way is like a necessary, a evil man, a villain that you can like understand, like Thanos in Avengers. Like you see a point in what he's trying to say. Christ just smiles, and the Inquisitor is just asking him the same question: do you want to live and disappear, or should I kill you right now? Christ does not say anything to him. He just kisses him on the lips. And the Grand Inquisitor, by this, act of Christ, is shocked. He does not know what to do. He's been questioning God himself for like hours on end, and God just responds with this. The kiss is just a symbol for unconditional love of God. When Christ kisses him, the Grand Inquisitor just loses all sense of being. He just walks out of the door and he leaves the door open. This line is one of the most favorite lines in literature that I have ever read personally. Even like an evil man that wants to control people, when he sees the unconditional love of God, or just unconditional love in itself is a God, according to me. We just portray it in a way of God to feel that. When he feels this, even the evil man, leaves the door open. This, I feel like Dostoevsky is trying to say, nothing is impossible for unconditional love. There is nothing impossible for it. Even when a tyrant wants to kill you, with unconditional love, the door is always open. You are always free with unconditional love. So Ivan tells this story to his younger brother, Alyosha. And I feel Ivan is also right in some kind of way. I feel Dostoevsky has proved both sides of the argument so correct, You can see both are right in some ways. But in the end, Dostoevsky makes one argument much stronger than the other. But you have to realize the other argument is not weak. The other argument is so strong. Both make you question your own values, In this way, Ivan confronts his younger brother Alyosha by telling the story in a poem, that the Grand Inquisitor. Ivan himself, the beautiful part of the story is Ivan himself is a cynic. He is a cynic. He is questioning the religious beliefs of his younger brother. But even in the story of the Grand Inquisitor and the Christ, he still gives respect to unconditional love. It is like even he craves this unconditional love. Even though he does not want to do anything with God, still there is enough respect that in the face of unconditional love, nothing matters. Nothing is impossible in the face of truly unconditional love. Yeah. So after reciting the entire poem, the Ivan is still asking his brother, how can your God do this? How can your God do that? Alyosha just kisses his older brother Ivan on the lips, and Ivan is so happy that his brother does this. He feels this moment of unconditional love from his younger brother. He's so touched by it. He hugs his brother, and both of them, go home. I feel like this craving for unconditional love is what God is. I feel like God has many various forms, but his true essence is unconditional love. All humans, every being in this life, in this world, I feel like responds to love. Yeah. So Alyosha, in the end, even though he is like a kid, even though he has no real world experience, you might say, still bests his brother by his own story. The conclusion of this story is the question, the argument. Let's come back to the argument, okay? If God is all loving, all nice, how can innocence suffer? The answer to this, there is no logical explanation to this answer. Life in itself, if you see from like a point, it has no meaning. You're just born at a time, you do bunch of stuff and you die at a point. After hundreds of years, nobody knows you. After like 15, 20 years only, people stop remembering you. Life, if you see on a grander aspect, there is no meaning to it. But from this story, you can identify that, okay, life is meaningless, but love can make it downright beautiful. Like it can provide some framework for life and it's meaningless and make it so much beautiful and happy. Yeah, this is what you can just read from like a 20-page chapter in a 800-page book of Dostoyevsky, Brothers Karamazov. And I truly believe like this is one of the most, one of the best books that has ever been written. And I don't think it is possible for any man in this world to write something like this again. So yeah, this was another video today. I thank you for watching till this far. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to speak. I'm kind of okay, I cannot speak properly, but thank you so much if you have watched this far. And I would highly recommend, if you have time, to read this amazing book by Dostoevsky, The Brothers Karamazov. And I'll see you in the next video.